Now, we are actually live on Crim Radio.
Whoa, Crim Radio, what's going on?
Fuel the Scene magazine for all of our viewers and listeners at home that could not come out to Carolina Rebellion.
What's up?
We are here with AJ from Fire from the Gods.
What's going on? What's going on,
and
people? How you
they
doing?
just crushed Carolina Rebellion
Thank you.
today. Have been crushing all of the festivals.
Thank you so much.
And you guys are touring like crazy. You know,
Yeah,
really
we're
getting the
working
message
hard.
out.
Yeah, exactly.
And this out here, like the crowd is just insane. And we just got the news that they hit over 100,000 people for this year.
Yeah, I think was it the whole weekend or just tonight?
I think it's just people that have come through the gates.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So,
I mean,
yeah,
again, that's a testament that metal music and rock music is still very much alive and well.
And that to me is so encouraging because you hear so much, especially on the internet, you know, people are talking about how the internet has killed live music and, you know, I think it's a changing landscape, but at the same time, like, if we can still get 100,000 people out here.
Exactly. No,
for a
live
weekend,
music is never going to go away. There's just so much, there's such a difference between listening on the record and what actually translates live, you know what I'm saying? And there are a lot of legacy bands playing this particular festival. You know, you've got Pop Roach, obviously, who's killing it right now. You've got Korn that was on last night, and they sounded just as good as they sounded back in '98. Probably better now because '98, you know, when they were young and coming out, and '94, excuse me. But you know, it's been an awesome experience, and the fact that, again, there's so many people came through the gate is a testament that, yes, the internet's cool and sharing music's cool and Spotify is cool and streaming, but there's nothing like coming to a festival and doing what we've done today. And
for you, what is the energy like with a club show versus like a show like this?
The club shows are cool, though. You know, we're a high energy band, so we like the close interaction. You know, we like to be in people's faces. So sometimes with the festival, you're not really allowed to. That's why always during the set, like I always go down there, you know, because it's like I just feel so much more comfortable being in the midst, you know, of everyone and bumping into fans and hitting people and they hitting me. You know, it's just something that I've just become accustomed to and grown up with. So,
and it's harder to do that in this atmosphere.
Exactly.
The security is tight. Yeah. Well, at least you're able to. You all are doing the smaller shows in between the larger festivals.
Yeah, yeah. We're on tour as well with Volume, so we're getting to do, you know, smaller intimate shows and Volume.
You don't get tired of either.
Nah. We get to, you know, it's back and forth, man. So it's cool. I've been really digging this run, to be honest.
Well, we're digging you, and the new video for The Voiceless. I guess it's not like super new at this point, but we're still seeing a lot of, you know, people reacting to it that have seen it for the first time. And we talked a little bit about this at Rockville. But can you talk a little bit more about what the experience is of taking a song like that and then trying to translate it to a visual medium? Like
that, most people have been kind of felt like we've been wearing. You know, you wear this mental block this mental gag where people aren't listening to you, and it's about time that people start listening. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it was really just about the message and not so much about the video. And we're going to keep striving to, anytime we do something, and Fire from the Gods is very diverse, and at this point it's no secret that we've got a lot of different things going on in our music. So we're always going to try and come at a different angle when it concerns like the visual presentation of the adaptations of our songs. Is it any different for you kind of putting on the hat of performing or acting in a music video and performing on stage? You know what, the only real, you know, we really haven't had to get too in depth too much, but we just like rock out when we're doing the video too, you know, we're just maniacs. Treat it like a show. Yeah, treat it like a show. We just love playing music. We love the music that we play, and so it's like the energy is always high. And you know, I think we get that when you see like the Excuse Me video, and you know, even In Transmission, there's not so much of the band in Transmission, but you know, in the In Transmission video, but we still like did it, you know. And then The Voiceless was just like go nuts. Yeah. You know, lose it. Now, if someone was not familiar with Fire from the Gods, what would you hope that they would take away from seeing you all for the first time? You know, I got a big mouth, so I talk a lot about like peace, unity, and harmony, and the acceptance, you know, and not so much acceptance where it's like we're all, again, kumbaya, we're not all holding hands. But at some point, I think we need to start looking internally. And a lot of people today that came up after the set, you know, they were like, I get it, man. You know what I'm saying? It's peace and it's revolution through art, revolution through struggle, but not through violence, not through war. You know, I think we're beyond that.
Through a shared struggle.
Yes, very much so.
And I think that's where you're going with the narrative as well. Correct?
Yes.
Like trying to take that, and you smile. You're like, we talked about this before.
That's okay, no. I mean, I like talking to you, so it's good.
Oh, good. I'm glad because I like talking to you. So with the narrative and the narrative revisited, people are really taking that, and though, you know, it comes from your experience, they're really taking it to heart and taking it to mean something that, you know, was maybe completely different than your original intention.
Yes.
Are there any songs in particular that you feel like have taken on a different life than what you intended?
I guess, you know, that's a man. Okay, with Excuse Me, I thought that folks would kind of get a little bit put off by it, you know, especially the bit about, excuse me, Mr. Officer, you know, like the whole cops versus the populace and citizens versus cops and blue lives and black lives and white lives, you know, and all lives. So I thought that was going to, I didn't think it was going to create controversy, but I did think that it was going to stir people's emotions. But the biggest response that we got was like from folks in the military. People were like, you know, my dad's a cop, and I'm so glad this song came out, you know, thank you, and I'm about to be a cop, and, you know, you get a couple dickheads who are like, what is your stance on Blue Lives Matter? And I'm like, dude, take it easy. You know what I'm saying? We're all in this together, my man. I am not interested in combating you and arguing with you over the aspect of who respects cops and who doesn't. We have to have a mutual respect for each other. So, Excuse Me, I think, took a life of its own. Because, I mean, let's just, you know, we talk about the prison industrial complex in there. We talk about the miseducation of our youth these days in our society. So I tried to touch on a lot of issues, and I thought that would kind of put people off, but it really hasn't.
And you all tackle a lot of issues that you know some bands are afraid to because of the controversy.
For sure.
You know, and I feel like you all have this, I don't know if it's what you can call bravery or what have you, but being able to say, you know, these issues need to be addressed. Yeah. And music is a conduit that, you know, you can use to reach so many people.
Exactly. Just be bold and don't be afraid. And man, we're writing the music. We're not writing the music for ourselves. We're writing the music for fans, and we're writing music that we like. But at the same time, if we have something to say, we're going to say it.
Yeah. Well, I love that about it, though, and it makes it so real and honest.
Yes.
Are there any songs like that have gotten a fan response that you didn't expect?
Other than that one?
Oh, really?
Yeah, Into the Blue apparently has, like, a lot of people have always asked to play it live. It's like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like a breakup song. You know, it's about separating yourself from someone that you don't want to be around anymore. Because that's when I wrote those lyrics, I was going through the most brutal of relationships, as most people do.
Yep.
And
good song fodder.
Yeah, I just couldn't stand the person that I was with anymore, and I felt like I was drowning. And, you know, Into the Blue became that personification of that experience, and people have really latched onto it. And I didn't think they would. I just thought it was just like one of those songs. Not a filler song, but it was just like, oh, it's just another song. It's a good song.
And it's so powerful to be able to say something that you didn't expect. You throw out this little bird out into the aether, and then people really hold on to it, and it means something to them. That's really, really powerful.
I wanted to put Public Enemy out as the first, on the record, Public Enemy out as the first single. And everyone was like, no, I'll go with Excuse Me. I was like, no, man. And then we went with Excuse Me, and then boom. You know, I was like, oh, okay. Word. Man. Excuse me. That's my shit, you know?
Well, people, I mean, they'll love no matter what you put out, I think. That's a signal. Because, as a single. I swear, every time I try to say that word. Because eventually they'll get the rest.
It's like sign and sing and try and write it.
There we go. All right, this is my last question because I know you got to go to your next interview. But if you were to write your memoirs or the memoirs of Fire from the Gods, what would stick out as the first chapter? What memory sticks out to you right now?
Man, I just think that the way we were all thrust into this situation, because Fire from the Gods had been around for so long, but the core of Fire from the Gods was kind of not collapsing, but severing. And, you know, we just did it. You know, it was like, our manager was like, hey, man, AJ, I lived in Brooklyn. He was like, this band in Texas needs a vocalist, and I think you'd be perfect for it. So I flew out there with no regrets, I didn't look back. I just did it immediately. I was like, I'll do it. And then from the first day, it was like, all right, let's do this. We're a band. You know, there wasn't a discussion about it. There wasn't like, okay, we want you to join the band. It was like, yo, you coming back? And I was like, yeah, I'm coming back to Texas, dude.
Yeah.
You know? And I did that and flew back and forth between Texas and New York for about 1.5 years. And that perseverance, man, I think perseverance really describes who we are, because we've been through a lot in these last 2.5 years, and we've grown exponentially, and we keep growing. So, yeah, perseverance and trial and error.
I love it. And those are some good words of wisdom. And that's a good note to end on.
Yeah, it's AJ from Fire from the Gods, and you're listening to Crim Radio.
Hell
Peace.
Yeah.